Good morning, everybody. I welcome you to the Fargo Hector International Municipal Airport Authority meeting for the month of December. It's December 16th. Roll call, please.
Shoshani. Here. Here. Concord. Here. Aye.
Aye. We do have a quorum present. Is there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
Move to approve the minutes of November 10th.
Roll call.
Shoshani. Yes. Bird. Aye. Concord. Aye. Captain. Aye.
Aye. Are there, let's see, any addition? Let's see. Is there would anybody like to move anything from the consent agenda to the regular agenda items? Oh. Hearing none, is there? Oh.
Chairman, I always get mixed up on what's consent and what's not.
Consent is the ones indicated by letters.
No, I'm good.
1 through 12 is the consent agenda. This one.
I have nothing to remove there.
Move to approve the consent agenda. Second. Approve the order of agenda first.
Yeah.
I'll go with that too.
Second.
Okay. Is there a motion to approve the order of the agenda?
You already made it. It was seconded.
Okay. Roll call.
Shoshani. Yes. Bird.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Roll call.
Yeah.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, real quickly, the board members will find a memorandum put together by our attorney Stacy back in September of 2024 regarding open meeting. Just as a reminder, board communications are governed by the open meeting law guidance, and this guidance is provided by our counsel. If there's any questions, we can open further discussion or refer questions to Stacy. Okay. All right.
Madam Chairman, I may have goofed up. I would like just, if we could, a recap of those real estate things that we approved on the consent agenda. We've had a lot of discussion about some of these things and just, would it be okay? Just
Sure.
give a quick recap. It's like 6, 7, 9, 10, and 12.
6, 7.
It's actually just 9 and 10. You're talking about the Graham hangar?
Yeah, well, I guess I didn't know, received notice from JP Development regarding the sale of hangar to Kirk Hamilton.
So that's in this.
Where is that at? What is that all?
It's in the packet. So this is the. It's this hangar in the RTA. Originally built by Dr. Nagel, then sold to Dr. Cliff Hamilton, then purchased by JP Development. Now they have sold it to Kirk Hamilton, no relation to the Hamiltons.
Then how about requests from Far North or Far North Aviation? Oh, that's the same thing.
Same thing. So that is the new owner, Kirk Hamilton, under Far North Aviation, requesting the 25-year ground lease.
Okay. And then the Century Holdings ground lease and GA. That's the building that we've been arguing about for a long time. We're discussing.
Yeah, not necessarily. So that was all done. So they have done some internal transfers of ownership, and we approved exactly what their attorney requested at the November 10th meeting. Group 2 to Magnum. When I went to the county asked for an additional step, and that's what's on here today.
So now it's owned by Magnum.
That's correct.
Where are they at in the work for that thing? They were going to do
They're
the
working
work.
on it. That's all that they'll tell me. They're working on it. It's all gutted. It's all, everything on the inside is out.
Do we know when they're going to have it done?
Then hopefully this summer is the plan.
And then the last was the ground lease from Bernabucci.
Yeah, so Paul Bernabucci passed away, so this is just putting,
Transfer to his son.
yes, it's this hangar.
That's on the north
South
side.
GA, it's right down here. That was originally the Schatz hangar. Schatz and Bernabucci swapped. Bernabucci built this hangar up here. They swapped many years ago, so now it's going to be in Paul's son's name, Christian Bernabucci. It's in the South GA.
So basically the trust, the Bernabucci Trust held that hangar in trust, and then Christian would be the recipient.
Is that like
of
the
it?
old igloo down there?
No, it's next to it. It's just to the west of it.
So
Thanks, sorry.
would you like to move any of those?
Nope,
You're
nope.
good?
I'm all
Okay. All right, then we'll start our regular agenda, and I would like to welcome the NDSU architecture students. This is really fun to have you all here, and thank you for taking a break in your busy final schedule. Matt Barine is the instructor, and I'll let you proceed. Whoever is presenting can stand right here so that the speaker can pick you up.
So when we present, do we want to have the students present there as well?
Anybody who's gonna talk right up here.
Okay, and then the computer so that they can project, they plug in to that HDMI? There's presentation that they.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that's doing a screen record, so whatever, I don't know if it's going to record what projects. I mean, you have to go through to get on the meeting so people can see.
Is there a way to like?
You could
flash
patch in though. Couldn't you patch in and then just show screen?
Yeah. You could log into our Zoom link and then you can share your screen.
Okay.
So there's Wi-Fi here, so.
Okay, let's set that up.
Sort of
We
so-
have that information. It'd be a lackluster presentation without the images.
Oh, yeah.
We can,
What's your Wi-Fi? It should be the board. Do you see that on there?
we can take one more item on the agenda, like.
Yeah,
patch it right away.
We could do the financials, or we could do, how long do you think you'll, okay, let's move on to number 14, which are the financials while you get that set up. Okay, Tana?
All right, good morning. I'm gonna get my screen up. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
All right, good morning. Let's see here. Gonna show you the October financials. Things are sitting very well in the operating fund. I do not see any issues. The car rentals are still above budget. The parking is slightly under budget. Expenses are under budget. So we're sitting very well in the operating account. Two changes that you're going to notice that are going to be made to the balance sheet. I just wanted to point out. One, you will notice probably in the next board meeting, but the retainage. The retainage on the balance sheet in the past was only updated annually when we had our audit. And because of these major terminal projects that we have, that retainage was probably off $6-7 million on the balance sheet. So I have updated the retainage to reflect what is current, our current retainage, and I will continue to do that monthly going forward, so that will always be accurate. Another thing that I'm going to add to the balance sheet, and it kind of came about from the rates and charges conversation with John DeCoster, is unencumbered funds. So once it hits the balance sheet, I'm going to show you where it is, but unencumbered funds just basically means this is our money that is not currently tied to a project that will be free to use for other capital projects or parking or whatever. So those are just two changes that will be coming. As far as employments, that's always a big one. So what your packets reflect is only through October, because Darren was great enough to forward me the employments for November. So I got those updated on the current slide. But however, our November employments did go down, and it broke our record employment streak of 19 months. We're still tracking ahead over the past year, but for October, our employments were up 10.3%. For November, we're still up 8.9% over last year, but for November itself, we're down 4.25. But that's due to the government shutdown and things like that, and canceled flights and weather and things like that. So November was a little bit of a tough month. So those are out there for you. But overall, our employments are still at record highs. The key performance indicators that we talk about, still tracking them, still no surprises. They creep up a few tenths of a % each month, but they're still looking good. We're still tracking for them to be good going forward. One we usually look at is the airline cost for plane passenger. That's at 4.45 right now. It was $4.49 last year. Right now we're at $4.45. Very good number to have. I don't know what Sean thinks, but I think anything under $5-6 is great. So I think we're sitting very well. The parking garage daily count. Now this is something new that I had asked SP Plus for. And so I don't know if it was a software thing or whatever, but they could start tracking these as of November. However, they could not provide me an October report. But going forward, I will be getting these. So this just gives you a quick snapshot of the cars that are actually sitting in the lot, not who's checking in, who's checking out. This is how many cars are sitting in the lot on this day of the week. So we can see if we look on the percentage side on the right here, our parking ramp total for November, our average was 21.5%. The surface was 56.4, that's the long term. And then the economy lots were at 22.2%. So I think going forward, this is something that I will continue to track, and I will continue to provide these monthly daily counts if that's something that you guys feel is valuable to you. The parking revenue is slightly down. It's kind of been right about that 75% of budget all year. So hopefully that will start coming back up now that everything is opened. Our expansion project is on track for the parking. So this $490 that you see in airport cash, that had to do with our liability insurance and some money out of our pocket. So with insurance reasons from some of the issues that we had. Otherwise, the terminal project recap, nothing big to report. Joe's provided me cash updates with his contractor schedule each month. So there's nothing out of the ordinary. We still have some grants that will be pending to cover some of the projects. Otherwise, I'm thinking either in the next board packet, I want Sean and probably Mead and Hunt to take a look at it first. But what I'd like to provide is like the next 3-year snapshot of what projects we have, what grants are guaranteed that we have, and just kind of give you a really good 3-year look into the future. So as these terminal projects wind down, we're going to start planning for the next round of projects. Excuse me, but I just want Sean and Mead and Hunt to take a look at all of that and make sure those numbers are good before I disperse them out to everybody. So that is it for my financial report. Do you guys have any questions for me?
Kenna, your audit starts.
We have the preliminary that will start, I think, December 29th and 30th. That's just where they're going to start gathering some information on the grants. And then our audit will be the week of February 16th. I think that Monday is a holiday, but then they will be on site that Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Got any big adjustments coming?
I don't see any. You know, I think we have everything in line for our terminal projects and stuff. I don't foresee any issues with the audit. We added a little bit of extra tracking last year that I think made it a little easier for them, and I'll continue to do that for them this year.
Good.
Okay, is there a motion to receive?
So moved. Second.
Roll call?
Shawnee?
Berg?
Aye.
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 It's you.
And yes, you. Thanks for being here.
Well, thanks for having us. I'd like to thank everyone for having us as well.
You don't have to plug
Students
in.
here, fourth year, and
Share
just,
your screen.
yeah, just share it in the presentation itself, so you can be up here as well. So I'm just about to relax and fourth year architectural students have put in a lot of time and effort to give you guys a vision of what could be in the immediate property to the south of the parking areas, and they've really kind of wowed my socks off, I guess. I don't know. They've done a lot of good work, and I think you guys will really appreciate it. So without further ado,
Hello, everyone. Thank you guys again for having us here. This is Architecture 471's Hector International Airport's master plan. To start off, we wanted to create our envisionment for this project. We really wanted to incorporate. So you want to repeat that?
Great. Like just so that we make sure that this gets recorded. So-
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Our vision for this project was creating an urban setting that weaves Hector International Airport and the Fargo community. The way we plan on doing that is with a few goals. We wanted to create a space for community, third space, engagement, accessibility, retail, dining, and a green environment.
So for development, we wanted to incorporate transportation and access. Obviously, passenger experience where people want to come back. And then community integration, actually bringing Fargo to Hector International Airport, including a lot of economic anchors in the area. So first we did an analysis of the transportation and access to the site, which is pretty limited beyond the parking ramp and parking that you guys provide. So we wanted to incorporate more parking and even a bus stop for people to easily get onto the site. Then we did the regional and local business proximity because there really isn't much near here. We did an analysis of hotel, food, gas stations in the area, which are all over a mile, almost 2 miles away. So actually pretty far. And on the other side, or on the west side of the site, not the east side, where the interstate is, where a lot of people would actually travel.
Okay, so some of the programs that we decided to research and figure out what we really wanted to put on our site was things like gas station, farmers markets to help explore that community of Fargo, North Dakota, hotels, restaurants, things like different environments of entertainment, brew halls, dog parks, business centers, parks, spas, gyms, museums, etc. So our site extends, and we decided to go with just south of the parking and just north of 19th due to building restrictions and limitations as well as existing drainage. And so as you can see, 19th is just south there, and the runway is just on the east side there. And just south of 30th Avenue is where we're going to start building our building zone. And so this will be the very south of our site. And we're going to take you through going north, right? This is just north of 19th. And we're moving on, going north on using that existing Dakota Drive, that existing roadways to really kind of be the parameters of our building area. And then we'll reach just south of that 30th Avenue where there's that existing parking gate, and just right before you start entering the airport and the terminals. And so, like I said earlier, there's we have different types of building topographies. So with the different types of entertainments, we wanted to go with something that what can drive people up north off of the interstate and maybe doesn't necessarily have to go through all the way down 19th to get to some of these programs. So skate parks or ice hockeyplex or theaters, museums, different types of entertainment. And then there's health and wellness, so clinics, spas, and gyms, and hospitality, so hotels. How many people are flying out of Fargo or in Fargo and want a hotel really close by? And then different aspects of food and beverage. So I know I like to watch the planes fly by, so having like a bite to eat or something to drink is always nice. So adding different brujalas or bars and grills and markets to really help our site expand. Again, this is now just north of 19th there. One of the things that we thought about was what makes people from the interstate come towards our site, and that was like a truck stop or a gas station. I mean, when you go north past 19th or you're getting into that Arthur, North Dakota region, the gas stations become limited. And so if you're coming south or north, having that gas station right there so you don't have to go through 19th going very east is something that we thought about. And this is our walking path. So we wanted to create, we did a site analysis one day and we noticed how many people are actually walking through, and there's a lot of like cross-country runners or bikers that like to go by and take that little loop. So we added a lot more walking paths to really help them want to come here as a pedestrian and want to explore the area. And then so we added different parking areas. So we're well aware of the parking ramps and the expansions that you guys are doing currently. And so we didn't want to take away from that, but we also wanted to add in more availability for short-term parking. So this would not be necessarily overnight parking. This would be more or less for the buildings and for more or less ADA and more accessibility there. So it'd be more short-term. And this is the green space. So trying to utilize maximum our specific green space and really focusing on that current, not trying to take away from that current environment and really trying to enhance that. This is our transit, so using that existing roadways of Dakota Drive. Again, in the middle there, just south of 30th, you can see there's that thick red bolded line. That is our new roadways that we would add circulation into the site to maximize our buildings currently there. And again, the existing drainage ditch. So that was a huge thing that we thought about during codes is how do we have all this buildings that we're putting here, but what about the drainage and I mean snow and rain and erosion? So something we considered. And now we're getting into our sections. So having these different areas of elements that merge together, and you can see they kind of move you through a path of the longitudinal way of the site. So through entertainment, then going through and maybe having a different plaza, and then an opera space. Just trying to keep the parts that belong together, if that makes sense. And this will be a transverse section. So this will be east to west. Again, trying to keep things that belong together with each other. So we're keeping our adjacencies in check with everyone else's buildings. So the hotel and gym, I mean, those should stay together if they're together. Next. Okay, now we'll get into our individual buildings.
This is Sky Point Fuel, a gas station and truck stop meant to serve the traffic coming into and off of that I-29 interstate to the west.
Do you want to come over here and talk so that we can hear you on the speaker? That'd be awesome.
So yeah, this is the Sky Point Fuel meant to serve the traffic coming into and off of the I-29 interstate located to the west.
Hi, my name is Preston. This is my Fargo Farmers Market. Really my main idea with this is kind of a gateway to the park. where I get that idea from is on the corner of 12th and University. NDSU has their own gateway, North Dakota State along the top. They make you walk through it when you come to school. You take pictures when you leave. I think it's kind of a cool symbolic sense of like a journey. And so I'm going to kind of add that or replicate that idea to our master plan. So yeah, just on the outside here, we have those small structures that people can back up to when the weather's nice, and you'll have extra stalls on the outside. You can keep it too. Just kind of on both sides, wrapping around. On the inside, I kind of did like a horse stall style, allowed for easy circulation, easy navigation. This is kind of that central area, just being able to view out along the park. Front door, kind of seeing it as that gateway. So from the front door, you can see all the way through the building. And the closer you get towards the end of the building, the wider your view becomes. This is the park, so we're moving north, looking south. We incorporated basketball courts, and you'll see just the various walking paths. We added a park farther down. And yeah, and then you'll see it leading into our land bridge there in the middle back where it kind of turns into a darker green. Yeah.
This is Flyby. Flyby is a fly-in restaurant. This is built to serve those, private pilot or personal aircrafts. And also looking at Flyby, this is located currently at the cell phone lot. This lot, I feel like, has a great potential to be a little bit more of a community engaged area. So you can see on the left, I have created a space for people to sit and hang out while also creating revenue by having a restaurant that can generate income.
This is the land bridge. We briefly touched on it. It's a bridge, but made of dirt, and it connects all three sides of our site. So connecting that cell phone lot up to the main and over to the west side. We have a plane up top. People can come there, hang out. It's also circulation through the site, and it's also a gateway into the site. So when people come to Hector International Airport, they have to drive underneath this, and then we open up their view as soon as they pass through. They can see all of what we created and the Hector International Airport. They can see the divide coming into the space. And this is Flight Path. This is a golf bar simulator. So there's simulators on the first floor, and on the second floor, it's a putting green, as well as the bar and grill that overlooks the runway. So people can come here, eat, have fun, watch the planes coming in. Kind of an iconic thing. It's right north of the current cell phone lot. And then just north of that is the dog park. Excuse me. We had some vacant space that we need to put something, and we felt that a dog park would be perfect because that golf bar is supposed to be a little bit more exclusive and private and more, golf-esque with all the nature. So we have a dog park here, perfect for people to come, bring their dogs, see the planes come by.
It's the Hector International Airport Museum that houses the history of the Hector International Airport since its establishment in 1927. This is meant to be kind of that cultural anchor that brings people from the local community onto the site, walking through the parks, and then it also serves as kind of reflecting the on-site land bridge to further engage the pedestrians coming in from the surrounding community and kind of connect them to what the Hector International Airport is to be at its core.
This is the Fargo Market. I envisioned it kind of to be a mix between like Brewhalla and a mall. So it's a mall of small businesses. I envision the inside being very flexible with movable walls so tenants can kind of rearrange what they need. I did the sloped roof to kind of point towards the sky, give a nod to the air traffic and kind of bring people's views up into the sky.
Okay, so this is a hangar brew hall. So I thought about what's the iconic Fargo building that currently was form of an entertainment. So I wanted to go with a brew hall, and not necessarily when you think of brew hall, you think of brewery and alcohol, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that. I wanted to put a picture of you guys like in your mind of an industrial building that would have vendors and kiosks. So I wanted it to be maybe instead of local restaurants, maybe it's local food trucks that can pass on by through garage doors. Maybe it's a different form of entertainment, and the entertainment would be watching the planes go by. So I'm located just right before you would enter the short-term or long-term parking, and it's right off that corner there. And my building is angled perfectly where you would see its direct line is the runway. So when you're sitting and you're eating or drinking, the planes is what you're watching. The planes is the entertainment. And then on top of that, I added just another keeping that green space maximized. So I have a little park there where children or other families can run around and play around. So.
So this is Shift Office District. This is to serve kind of the travelers and also have a connection to NDSU to help serve the students. So this is a flexible space for either short-term or long-term like office rentals. So there's open space on the first floor where students or entrepreneurs can just come grab a seat and work at their laptop and stuff. And on the second and third floors, there are more rentable office spaces, conference rooms, and other things to serve business owners. So, like print services, such as that. There's also a coffee shop that helps to fuel them as something to grab a treat as well. It's located next to the hotel as well as Basin's Brew Hall. With the connection skyway up top, that way with our cold winters, it's easily able to go grab lunch or something to help keep you going as well. There's also underground parking for this building to help serve either those longer term tenants and some of the staff as well.
Right next to it, we have the Hector Airport Hotel, able to accommodate people who would be flying into the site and needing a place to stay, maybe for academia or for workers or people like that. Additionally, one of the main spaces in the hotel would be this lounge space. For people to relax, enjoy the view outside, or maybe able to get a drink. And kind of showing that same lounge space from this front entrance of the building, as I want to have that underneath the lounge space. And have this same thing at night, including having lobby space towards the south end of the building, gym, pool. And additionally, I want to include a parking ramp, which is able to accommodate 26 additional parking spaces, and with about 67 rooms in total for the hotel.
And this is the Hector Airport Gym. It's named 701 Gym, taken from the area code of Fargo. This gym would just aim to just meet people who are even maybe coming from NDSU or coming from the plane on a plane ride. They want to stay at the hotel and hit a quick workout, sauna, whatever, at their gym. On the exterior of my gym, I have basketball courts and pickleball courts just to serve people who want to come in and play, as well as at the inside, I have a full-size NBA-sized gym for people to come play basketball, play racquetball, whatever they want to do. Went through. There's the south side. And then right to the west of that, I have my Hector Airport Hockey Ice Complex. It's called the Hector Hockey Arena, or Hector Hockey Hangar, excuse me, the Triple H for short. This building aims to meet all the youth hockey needs as well as the high school hockey needs for kids just playing they want to practice for sports, whatever. And then it would also ideally host tournaments, any tournaments that might come to Fargo. It is equipped with 2 sheets of ice, an Olympic size sheet of ice, and then a NHL size sheet of ice, just for 2 practice games to be going on, or 2 tournaments to be going on at the same time. It also has a pro shop and a VIP bar and grill right in the center of the ice shield, so you can watch 2 games at the same time while being warm and enjoying food and beverage.
Right across the street from Dakota Drive, we have the Hector Airport Clinic, able to be an outpatient clinic facility, people able to check in, has about 3 exam rooms to get a quick checkup and to be able to get a quick prescription from the pharmacy down the south end of the building, and then be able to leave, catch their flight, or continue throughout the site. And I want to incorporate as much light as possible into the building in order for people to feel safe and feel welcome in this environment.
This is the Crosswinds Plaza. It's essentially a mixed-use building. It has 12 stores, up to 12 to 13 stores. There is a salon, a barber shop, 2 ATMs, the lobby for the Airbnbs. So on the upper levels, the 2nd and 3rd floor, there's 6 units for Airbnbs for those people who want to stay not long-term, but they have like a big family and all that. So it connects the community aspect and the visitors from flying into Fargo.
Hi, I'm Abby. This is the Waypoint Event Center. It's a place where you can just have several different kind of events. It's a really good attraction for new incomers from the airport or current residents in Fargo. On the back, you can see I did use some hangar doors to kind of tie into the airport. And I also did do some murals, so some art and creativity for kind of tying back to North Dakota and our roots. There's also a big patio area in the back. I have two rooftops on the top for people to hang out there, and it's just a big open space. And then there's also a kitchen, a dining area, a bar, bathrooms, and then storage, and also 2 smaller meeting rooms. And then, as you can see on the 2nd floor, you can see towards the bottom as well.
I am Isaac Down. This is the Northern Plains Opera House. I worked with Mr. Cole, the artistic director of the Fargo Moorhead Opera. They've been calling for the last couple of years to get a 1,000 seat opera house / theater in the Fargo area, so I worked with them to achieve that. This is the southern approach to the building. This is the southern on the west side. Now I wanted to drive some community interaction, so I worked to try and get much of the Fargo architecture design into this building. Like the Fargo downtown hopefully is reflected in this building facade, and you can see some of those architectural details pulled through. Now additionally, I did work with Mr. Cole. He had me look at the Theater Freiburg in Germany. He spent 6 seasons with them, performing for them. One of the things he talked to me about is how he differently interacted with the space through his time there. So I wanted many interactive site features for people to come and interact with that building along with the space inside and give them a different experience, regardless of what direction they're coming from or if they came on different days or different times of the season.
And then I've got the Terrace Bar and Grill. It's kind of like a higher end restaurant with a park next to it because I have all these great icons around me. So I wanted to downscale this into a more intimate space and have a green space next to it so everybody has a third space to congregate around these big buildings. You're going to and from. I put a rooftop patio so when it is nice out, you can go out there, and the colonnade frames the big buildings that I kind of want to call attention to with mine. And basically just try to fit it in with all the other styles around me and make it like this nice little spot in the park as you go through the site.
Then this is the Hector Airport Spa facility. It's called the Layover Lodge. This spa facility is meant to bring relaxation to Fargo. I believe the closest spa facility like this one is in Winnipeg, Canada, so nearing that 4-hour mark away. So this is equipped with many hot tubs of different styles, different sizes, different temperatures, as well as different saunas of the same. So steam rooms, infrared, all of those. It's meant to just be a great place to sit, watch the planes, relax, bringing that revenue of people coming in and just having something to eat, drink while they just relax in the different saunas and get different massages and everything else that that facility offers.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, I think that's it. Thank you.
Brought a lot of things to the north side of Fargo that's now on the south side. I brought it up north. Great job.
Thank you.
One thing I just wanted to say, like beyond thank you so much for all of your work. I really like the way that you incorporate the air traffic and the departures and arrivals, like the flights as an asset, like something that to enjoy instead of oftentimes you hear people like, oh, I don't want to be by the airport, it's too loud. You make it an asset. So, and thank you so much.
We can
think Fargo is growing so fast. It's one of the growing cities, and I totally enjoy that kind of the urban design studio because it gets a big master plan, and then every individual do some parts of this. How they think beyond that imagination of what to bring to Fargo, like the Opera House. We don't have Opera House. We have to get this hotel nearby the airport with some quality of and greening this area and make this connectivity between Fargo and the airport zone. So that's kind of connection between our academic and the professional and what's going on in our city is very important. So we are so glad for your invitation and for this wonderful opportunity to be with you. So much appreciated. When I came to Fargo, I came for just one year because my friend at Virginia Tech told me it's very cold. And he said, hey, come on to get a dinner with us and watch a movie. So we get a dinner and we watch the movie Fargo. And then he said, you can make your decision. I say, I will go and try it for 1 year. Then now it's 25 years. I'm 25 years in Fargo teaching at NDSU. So I'm so glad to be in Fargo. I'm so proud of our students bringing this wonderful project to make this connection between the city and their minds and how they bring great ideas to the community.
What's the estimated cost of everything that you just?
Under whatever budget you have. I think part of that is the idea that the buildings were not designed to be icons. We're designed to be facilities for people to actually use, and it's not about the architecture per se. It's about making the community. So the buildings themselves they're an option, but the idea is that the north side can have more. Like I said, everything has been moving south, but the north side seems to be lacking these immediate facilities. So this is a look, some might be more feasible than others, but the ideas are there, and I think that's the most important part. And part of this is just one portion of the overall site that we looked at, knowing that this is a large expanse of land. We only have so many brains at one time, so we can only do so much. But it's a look.
You certainly don't have to stay if you have finals or something.
And some of us do, not to say that.
So feel free.
We appreciate your time. Sorry.
I'd like just to thank you very much because this is kind of, again, watching all these people all working together and bring a plan together. I'm sure there was a little bit of tussle on who's better or who's not or whatever, but a project like this has many phases. And what would you say the first phase would be? What's the low-hanging fruit? What would you do to have kind of a immediate impact that would, again, connect Fargo with the airport, but also help, people that are coming and going to the airport? You don't have to answer that right now, but I just.
The hockey arena would be.
I'm sure everyone has different opinions.
I think to piggyback off of that, I think that is a hotel too, it's just immediate need for travelers. Hotel, hockey tournament, like I said, that place would be packed in a minute.
Well, and we probably agree with that. We're actually planning a hotel that would be attached here. So I think, there's a lot of things that I was thinking about. I mean, people travel with their animals now a lot. And you'd think there might be a good opportunity to have a dog park somewhere. Again, that's very small, but where someone's going on a 3-hour flight, they can take their dog before they board the plane. And I do think that area that you're looking at, that we call it the cell phone area, but the viewing, I think that could be really enhanced, because I talked to so many people that were like, yeah, my dad or my mom and I used to go out when I was a kid and watch planes come and go. And so I think some of those connections, you've kind of opened our thinking. So I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Appreciate it.
Finals.
Good luck on your finals. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas. You shouldn't have to take finals if you did this presentation.
Oh, I tell that to my physics professor.
If you have any problem with your speakers not working, go to the man. Thank you. Matt, thank you for.
Thank you for taking this project. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys again.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
See you, big table now.
Thank you guys again.
Thank you.
See you.
Okay, next we have Joe Jenny to give us the update from CL Stroh Architects on the parking ramp, roof, and skyway.
Morning. I don't have much in the way of any update on the roof. It's report from the assessor that was here, and I believe it's been assigned to another assessor. Something like that. It was in that email you had sent out.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I know.
As far as the skyway, obviously the exterior steel's done, the floor deck is down, the roof deck is on. They're working on tying in connections to the existing canopy right now. On the interior, they brought the east tube, which is basically the big support for the walkway bridge or whatever. That's hanging in place, and they're working on getting that anchored in position. It's about all I really have, other than we're working through the shop drawings, or we haven't gotten the shop drawings yet for the perforated panels that were added on the south side and that at the parking ramp. But we've worked through a few details on that, and we're waiting for the final submittal for that. So, any questions?
How many of these students are you gonna hire?
How many what?
How many of these students are you gonna hire?
Oh, I don't hire anybody. You'd have to talk to Terry about that.
Completion date on the walkway?
I'm sorry?
The completion date?
December.
December 26th.
Any more questions or discussion for Joe? Okay, thank you. Let's see, we have receive an update from Maiden Hunt regarding terminal expansion and modification project. Brandon? Brandon on that?
Hey guys, yeah, I'm here. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Good morning. So I'm sure you're seeing a lot of progress, a lot of traffic coming and going from the addition as they're wrapping things up there. A lot of activity. So on level one, hopefully you guys have had a chance to walk through the space. If you haven't, I would encourage you to schedule some time. the on level 1, you'll see mainly they're over in the ticketing area. They're putting the what we call the H windows, the wood curtain wall system up. That is like the iconic piece. Of course, it's one of the last pieces they're putting in, so it kind of builds anticipation as well. So that's coming together and looking great. As well as the inside, they're polishing the terrazzo. They're getting the ticketing casework, getting ready for that. On level 2, you'll see the coffee bar getting installed, and we've been coordinating with Skydine and their group to make sure that that's getting set up for them. That'll be the coffee bar, but they'll also be temporarily serving alcohol and food out of that location while we do the renovation of the existing terminal over this next year. Level 2, you'll see a lot of the tile. Man, so much of it going in. I'm sure if you walk the space, you can see the size of the tile and the impact it has at finishing the space, and really getting a sense of the volume and the spaciousness of the addition and the concourse. Acoustical ceilings are going up in level 2. Carpet is getting installed. A lot of the finishing touches. Level 3, then they're doing all the finishes there, all the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, doing all the finishes, painting, and then getting the ceiling started as well. So that's the addition. On the exterior, you'll see the metal panel installation ongoing, and then as I said, the glazing is as well on the ticketing area. For the rest of the site work, you'll see the Fargo call letters. Those are still those are getting installed, but obviously not much more site work done this season. That'll finish up in the spring. In the renovation, you can see McGuff has taken what they can get without trying to disrupt too much of the operations. I know it's a busy time of year, but they've gotten through the baggage claim areas. Now they're trying to get the checkpoint wrapped up as well. You'll see the new checkpoints, so that switch over. They've been ongoing coordinating with TSA to make sure that's a smooth transition. Level 1 bathrooms, they're starting to getting those finished up as well. What we call punch list will be coming out about mid-January to start walking through the spaces and just kind of doing a punch list to make sure we get kind of the finishing touches done and the design intent is executed. And then Joe Jenny gave you an update on the Skyway. So any questions on what you're seeing out there?
Well, I would just like to say we had the tour yesterday and really impressed, Brandon. Just the light, the glass, the height. I think people will come off a plane into Fargo for the first time and be really impressed. And I think all the time and effort we've spent on some of the finer touches, I think they're really going to add to that. So just what I saw yesterday was just really impressive. So don't screw
Thank you, Chairberg. Thank you.
Like to do is, could you just walk through the schedule? Because I know you're coordinating a lot of movement. So there's going to be like 3 or 4 big chunks. Maybe that's something Joe can do, but we're going to, go in the new ticketing area. Then we're going to do the current ticketing area. And then with upstairs where people are going through security, we've got some work balancing to do that. Is there, not to get in the weeds there, but are there some big chunks? Because I think what was said yesterday, which I thought was really cool, that you're going to get CO mid-January, and then a couple weeks for punch list, couple weeks for the airline, so mid-February we'll be operational with the new wing. That's exciting. But maybe
Yeah.
just kind of briefly, just when is it going to be completely done? You know, after we do all this shifting around and work.
The addition or the entire thing?
Yeah, the entire thing.
Okay. The entire thing. So February, you're correct. It will be, the goal is for it to be up in operation, gates being used, and then over this next year, the renovation, the rest of the renovation will occur. So the existing concourse will get completely renovated, along with the gift shop, the restaurant, all that being redone. The rental area, the car rental areas. So they're going to be, as you can see, they tried to take chunks of the existing as they could to try and kind of stay ahead of things and get a jump on this renovation. I think the biggest component was the checkpoint and moving that. That took a lot of detailed coordination, and that's a huge hump to get over. And there are multiple I guess milestones within that to make sure that the equipment gets moved, the TSA has their redundancy in place, and that is what you're going to be seeing over the course of the next 2 months, is kind of that gradual movement over of the TSA equipment. And then as far as the detail of the restaurant, I would have to defer to Joe to get more like detailed on information on when that's going to be ready. But then the ticketing area as well, ticketing in the ATO space, that's a tricky area as well. So as you can see, we'll have the ticketing counters in the new edition ready at the end of in February. We're already moving ATOs, the airlines, they're over into their office spaces, but also the checked baggage. That is also a really intricate phasing plan that'll be happening over the course of the next couple months. So, Joe, did I get anything wrong there, or pretty close?
No, yeah, the high level of what we're doing. The big dates coming up are January 12th and then February 9th. So January 12th, we'll get our CO. We essentially have 2 weeks to punch it out with Brandon, make sure everything's beautiful. The airlines have requested 2 weeks to make sure everything works and they can function out of their gates. So the goal is February 9th that we're flying planes.
My question is, when are we all done?
March 1st of 27.
March 1st.
Yes. So the second big date is January 13th. We showed you the temp airline offices. So all the airlines in the existing building right now have to move to the expansion so we can have access to the back of house area. We have that from January to July. And then we are moving into ticketing. So on the west side of ticketing, that's going to be United's new space. So we have essentially 3.5 months for each side of existing ticketing. So we'll take the west ticketing first. We essentially have 3.5 months there. Then we'll take the middle section of ticketing so that there's the cohesive look through the expansion, and we'll bring it into the renovation to the end of 2026. And while all that's going on, we are taking baggage claim 3 starting as soon as we open the expansion. So January 12th, we'll take baggage claim 3, renovate that area along with all of level 2. So once we open the new security checkpoint, you'll see the temp walls essentially cover up all of the existing security checkpoint and the gift shop, everything in this area. And we'll essentially be on all of level 2 and kind of have 2 projects going. So from middle of January, as soon as Sean and his team are in the admin area, we'll be working around TSA for a little while on level 2, and they'll be in a construction zone, but all level 2 will be from mid-January to March 1 of 27.
Brandon, I have a question. When we were touring yesterday, I noticed that the the coffee bar area kind of angles out. And I recall that in the original plans, the bar was more of a linear along straight, parallel to the wall. Is the angle out, which eliminates some of that high top seating, I believe, is that temporary or is that permanent?
The coffee bar angling out, kind of splaying out. Yeah, that's permanent. That was in an effort to get the display more exposure to people coming out of the checkpoint, and so it wasn't such a like a side profile. And I would have to look back at our design process to see at what point. I don't remember it being rectangular, but at what point we splayed it out. But that was the intent.
Okay. And then I know Joe said the project will take until March 1st for the second level. Is there any way that that we could do the restaurants, because that's adjacent to the new terminal space? Is there any way that we could do fast track the restaurant area so that our passengers don't have to, or have more food and beverage options sooner?
We can take another look at that, Paula. I know that we had went through, and as you can imagine, this has been it is renovations and additions of this size are disruptive. And we have gone through with Skydyne on different options and ways to do this. As far as getting the restaurant open, it'd be I think extremely well, not extremely, but to create temporary conditions, create an isolated corridor and the necessary egress to operate that, I think would be pretty costly. But I mean, we can have the discussions with McGuff and look at their phasing plans and see if there's something that maybe we overlooked.
I was just curious. So
Yeah, we did. Believe me, and Skydyne did push, because I know they want a full kitchen and being able to fully operate out of there.
okay.
Access to all 9 gates will be limited throughout a portion of 2027 as well, and the second phase of the apron reconstruction. I don't know where that is, but just keep that in mind.
Are we ready for the Arts and Amenities Committee update and proposed MAA art program policy, Brandon?
Yeah. So today, the Arts and Amenities group has gotten together since the last board meeting a couple times and reviewed the concerns that were brought forth regarding the different possibilities for transactions for potential artwork, the discretion of what would be appropriate, ownership of that artwork, and then the potential for retiring and rotating different pieces. So Michael Strand is there today with the arts director at NDSU, and excited to present the proposed Airport Authority program policy outline. We'll be seeking approval of this outline today, and if approved, then the next steps would be to build the policy based on this framework, and then would be brought back forth to the board for final approval. So thanks, Michael, for being there.
Do you have a copy of that, Brandon, to pop up?
Yes.
Yeah, just to get together. All right, well, Brandon was doing that. Thanks for having me. It was nice to see NDSU students here, Imagine, and just a reminder, I mean, I met with theater and music folks, and with all the creative industries at NDSU, we're over 1,000 students. And so when we think of the impact of something like an art and amenities policy. Now we deal with aesthetics and design. That's a big chunk of the community. And second part would be growing up in this community. I went to being a 80s graduate of high school, I went to that old airport, and to see the changes and differences of this airport makes me feel like I'm in a community that's growing up and is an A+ community. So a policy like this, and I'll just do some homage to Ivy here, on how we organize this is really important. And I can tell you this on a couple different reasons. One, or for a couple different perspectives. One, anytime we found anything, an arts program is founding something. This is an important space. Having some guiding principles is going to make it so much easier for people 20 years from now. Having developed a school, having started a museum, the policy is not the part that's really sexy, but it's the part that keeps things moving forward and brings it up to a level of importance. And that's what I think we've done here. And responding to your concerns, essentially it's a pretty straightforward policy structure of any kind of organizational structure like this. You have a mission and scope, the purpose of it. We've talked about as a collective for over a year now, but being regionally specific, engaging, programming that's organized and professional, supports local and regional artists as well as the passengers coming in. Art programs at airports, as we've talked about for the last year, are really powerful ways to tell a story of a community and also to create an opportunity for folks who are traveling to have a good impression coming in and leaving. It's the building, and then it's all the other things. Responding to your questions, I'm not going to go through all of these in detail, but they're very specific mission and scope. Governance, I think one of the key points there being that and I think this is a really important part, which would be establishing an arts and amenities committee. That would be a community-based committee. Why that's important, folks like Brad and I are involved. It brings in your local expertise, and it also keeps us engaged with the airport, keeps us engaged with the programming, keeps the community engaged. So a committee is more than just doing things for the airport. It's also the community feels like they have a vested part of it when there's a committee. Processes for collection management, documentation, maintenance. Again, this is the structure, and then we would go into details with each one of these. But this would be moving forward, this kind of structure. Funding and sponsorship, the different ways in which this would happen, what can be sponsored, how those sponsorships can work, and reviewing and improving those processes, just having some policy structure in place so it's not ad hoc or one opportunity at a time. Selection commission and partnerships, it's really important. So NDSU Museum being involved, having some sort of structure in place in which we engage and we are held accountable to our work, and then in reverse, that the airport has a process that works well for us to work with them, for example, as a partner, or the Plains Art Museum, or the Arts Partnership, whoever may become community partners, having that in place will be really important. Their professional organizations need to be met with a professional kind of policy structure here. And then artist agreements and standards, you need to have that in place. We want to make sure that this airport highlights the best of our region and tells a story of our region in an effective way, and how those agreements work with artists and have good relationships with artists. I think West Acres is a terrific example of community-based art. They have the largest art collection in the region, and it's a destination. I know I go in there in the middle of winter and walk around there if I don't want to go to the gym. It's a nice big lap. I'm sure we've all done that. And then just community engagement. I think this policy, again, having a committee in place means for a different level of community engagement. It keeps me interested and engaged beyond even the museum. That I want to see what's happening out here. And again, this was guided by one that was, Ivy prompted this kind of work with us, and then the development. There's many other models. Most airports have of our size, and we are growing up to that point of having some sort of policy in place. So hopefully the board will approve at least this structure that we can then do the work that we're happy to do to flesh this out a bit more and make sure that everybody's happy with it. It doesn't create more work, but creates guidelines.
I just wanted to reassure the board that as the liaison to the Arts and Amenities Committee, that we've listened to your concerns and tried to, I think Brad and Michael and Ivy and Shannon have worked, collaborated to to try to address all the issues so that we can move forward with this.
Yeah, with so many questions, that tells you need some sort of guiding principles. So,
Is there any questions of Dr. Strand? Is there a motion to approve this policy structure?
Move to approve the structure as presented.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Shawnee? Yes. Bird? Cosgrove? Aye. Captain? Aye. Heckman?
Aye.
that's it.
Thanks for all your
All right,
work.
thanks, y'all.
Volunteer hours, we certainly appreciate
We'll
it.
keep working on this and get back to you. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Number 17 is to review the NGA hangar development plan.
Jeff, you wanna bring your map up? So this update was requested after Chris Conheim had put forth a proposal to build a hangar in the North General Aviation area, just north of what's now called the Rydell hangar. Just showing you some of the plans, if you will, from the master plan and just some updates that we have that Jeff can go through and explain what's there.
So, real quick here, what's shown in kind of the I'll call it the dark blue, is pavement that has been approved by the FAA. It's on the approved ALP, along with the rust colored rectangles, which obviously represent hangars. In the North GA area, kind of in the upper right there, where Tunheim was proposing a hangar, he had proposed, I believe it was 100 by 100 foot hangar. That can go there. And then, if access is an issue, what we're showing, what could be done, it's possible to do this, is just construct an access road shown in purple on the screen there. So pretty straightforward, to be very honest with you. So I know, Rick, you got some questions on it, so.
Yeah, I mean, my concern really was twofold. It's kind of a lack of, the sight line coming in that road to the jet center. This is like a residential neighborhood where one house juts out. And, if someone wants to build 100 by 100 hangar, we should have a spot for them to build it. So that was my concern. I mean, to me, that whole area, there ought to be kind of that roadway, that frontage roadway. It would make sense that we connect those all. And I look at, so I guess that's my main concern. I just think that we're ending up with doing this real piecemeal and we don't have consistent colors on the outside, but that's my main concern. And I understand the need to have them flush on the east side.
Mm-hmm.
But, I guess that my concern hasn't changed at all from last month.
Right.
So this is
You would just want to see them flush on the west side as well.
Yeah, and again, shame on us if we didn't get the right dimensions, if we're 80 feet and not 100. But I think none of the stuff in red has been built, and those taxiways haven't been built. And so I'm just thinking we should be, we should be consistent. I think the way it looks, and we have D there, which really doesn't fully utilize that land that's available. This is it's kind of an important area for general aviation. I mean, it's not the heavy planes or anything like that. So my question last month was to say, is there a way we can work it out so we don't have one building jutting out on the setbacks? So I guess, did any work go on with that?
Well, that's what's a couple of, I understand where you're coming from. The challenge with that is, what's there today for taxiway pavement is very limited.
Right.
So, there would almost have to be, just, talking out loud here, there would almost have to be some taxiway development just to create a lot, so to speak, for a specific 100 by 100 foot hangar or 100 by 100-foot hangars, 80 by 80-foot hangars, 60 by 60-foot hangars to provide that consistency. And
I 100% agree that we as the airport should have a long-term, more master plan. You know, kind of like a residential development. So if someone says, I want to build a 30,000 square foot hangar, we say, here's where they go. Someone says, I want to build a 20 or a 10 or a 8,000. We have them developed in a way that it looks consistent, like we had a plan. You know, and again, it's like, you know, even the Bernovucci hangar that we approved today, I mean, it's not really consistent with the other hangars. But that's, and then you know, again, my concern is I wouldn't be as concerned if it was somewhere else, but this is kind of the main entrance. And so if that's what we decide, that's what we decide. And if you roll north there from that, we're going to end up with a lot of little or big hangars. Pretty hard for us to deny someone in the future saying, I want to put a big hangar right next to that frontage road and I want a 10-foot.
I would think that the airport would have to set some size standards as well, you know, like just minimum standards, because if there was like a row of, you know, developed for 80 by 80 hangars and I want to come in and build a 72 by 72 hangar for whatever reason, you know, is that allowable or do I have to upsize to meet that?
I mean, they could do that, but it's like we spend so much time each time someone wants to build a hangar trying to do all that work. And I think, you know, our last challenge was when we built a new hangar by the old terminal. And I think at the end of the day, that worked out really well. I mean, they made it larger to fully utilize that space. That wasn't what they wanted, but I think now they're happy that they did that. So, and I like, you know, I even look at that taxiway to the right. I mean, I understand it's good to have it consistent on the taxiway, but we haven't built that taxiway between D and E yet. I mean, if we're going to have bigger hangars there, I encourage that, but maybe we should move E and D farther to the east and create space along there for larger hangars. Because that's kind of the prime space in the airport. That's the only place in the airport where your passengers or whomever can drive up and park outside and go in the hangar versus having to take their car through a security gate and then into something else. So I just think that we're missing a huge opportunity by, you know, I mean, I would, you know, that's just my opinion. And so I guess my question was, did we go back to the Tunheim? Is that who's doing it?
Yes, they looked at a 80-foot depth hangar versus 100-foot, and it doesn't work for the aircraft that they own. They can't stack them properly, a longer 80-foot. So I fully support what he has presented and will when he brings it forth in January. It also, you know, then hampers Rydell's ability to put an office addition onto the west, another 20-foot addition out to the west, if they so desire to do that.
So they want to put an office on the west.
They've talked about options to expand that hangar, yes. So I have no concerns with what Trondheim has presented on there, and that should be approved. But it's a concept. I mean, any of those things where it says D for the T hangars that are there, they could become conventional hangars as well.
I just think that whole area where nothing's been built should be rethought, redesigned, have nice hangars there, in my opinion. And I think by doing this, we kind of end up setting a precedent for that whole area.
And what you see there is from the master plan that was approved by the FAA that had tenant input. All the stakeholders had input.
I understand that was 15 years ago.
So how would you change that now? That would be the question. How would you change that?
Is there an area that would fit anywhere else?
Certainly where E is north of 26, I mean, he could go inside the fence, but they're going to have so many passengers with their operation, they want to be close to the road. They don't want people coming in and out of the gate constantly.
Who's having a lot of passengers?
Tunheim and the Strongs. I mean, that's who the partnership is. They fly people all over the place for their businesses.
Yeah, so again, I think we're screwing up. If they want to add an office to the west again, that's what you're saying?
That's the potential. I mean,
so then that'd be another 20 feet beyond what you have here. Again, you drive down any residential street and the setbacks are pretty important for everyone. And
It's an
so,
airport, not a residential area though. There's a difference.
well, there's a reason they do it residentially.
Right.
There's a reason they do it commercially. There's a reason for all this stuff. And again, again, we've got all that land. If we want 100-foot depth in those hangars, and that would be, I think, good to do that, then I think we ought to consider shifting E and D farther to the east. Or, where E's at, 100-foot by 100-foot hangar would work. We're not denying them hangar, it's just, I just think this willy-nilly impacts long-term. I mean, I look at the left side now, and we've designed and spent time on, someone wants a $30,000 or a 30,000 square foot hangar. Here's the options where you can build a hangar. We shouldn't have someone come in and say, well, I want to build a 30,000 hangar on the right side, although they could. It's just, there's different needs for hangars, and people can build whatever house they want, but usually in residential, you're given, here's the dimensions of your lot. So, that's.
Jim.
I'll step over here so I'm on camera like so you hear me, but yeah, I see this, I appreciate what Mr. Berg is concerned with, but also if I were going to build a hangar there today, I would want to max out. You've given the alignment right there between all those hangars of the proposed hangars and what's been done over the years up there. People have built within your concrete or your taxiways, and in some cases they've maxed out that footprint, in other cases they haven't. And if someone's proposing to build a hangar to the north, that I would want them to max out that footprint. It's the only time you're going to build on that land. So if they want to build a size that fits on that parcel that you have available today, I would think you'd encourage them to build the largest hangar that can go within that space. And these are aligned for, I don't know exactly what his dimension is, but that space is completely aligned with the size hangar that he's proposed. If it weren't, Sean would have said that to him when he handed him the letter and said, this doesn't fit here, or that's not the space for it. So these are hangars. This is an airport. This land only gets developed one time. And I would encourage anybody on any of these where we see all the red boxes to max out those. If we look at the box above number 26, this E box right here, I mean, you show that as a proposed hangar. I would expect that whoever builds in that spot would want to max out that, put a hangar in there that has doors on each side, just like the one below it, and fills in that space. And that would be your choice at that time. If someone proposes a hangar that's smaller, you would have that right to do that. But I don't see any reason why you wouldn't max out the westerly edge of that parcel in a hangar.
Well, let me ask you this. So if someone wanted to put a hangar right here or extend that right here, you'd support that?
It's not in the master plan.
Well, the master plan's 10 years old. We're going to do a new master plan. But what you're saying is, just so I'm clear, you don't mind if this land is more utilized and hangars are there?
I want this North GA to be built out with as many hangars as possible.
So you'd support having more hangars on the left side, and they wouldn't have to be aligned on the left side. If this C wanted to be 100,000 and it went all the way here, you'd support that?
I support hangars being aligned with ramps, with the concrete.
Well, that would make it aligned. So if there was no set aside on the left side, you're fine with that too?
Well, there's no concrete there today. So he's actually proposing to build a hangar where there's existing concrete.
Well, there's not existing concrete there. I apologize, yeah. Again, I'm just saying that for us to move this taxiway 20 feet over or whatever, creating, if he's got a lot of people coming and going, you know, it just makes sense to create parking up in front. But
yeah, nobody's ever had of all those hangars on the westerly edge of that area, there's never been a parking issue. We see cars come and go there every day, and I don't think it's ever been.
No hangars on the west side.
I'm sorry, what that.
I mean, I would take that hangar and draw a 20-foot addition for an office to the west, then add parking for 20 cars, if that's what his intention is, and see how that looks. I mean, they'll be parking cars probably right next to the road, because there's not enough parking there for 20 cars.
Yeah, my point is I don't think there's anything significant or magic about the alignment of buildings on the west side of that development.
Or the east side.
Well, the east side is going up against the ramp. They're gonna be a setback there for.
But I mean, extending those that are on the west side now closer to the road, you don't have any problem with that. You're not concerned about this alignment along here. So that was my question. So if someone wanted to build a hangar here or wanted to build a hangar here, you're not concerned about that alignment.
It's an expensive proposal. There's no concrete there.
Well, if this apron gets built here, and there's concrete right there, I mean, if we want to fully utilize this land for hangars, then we should encourage them beyond there, or maybe a north-south one that faces that. I just think we need to be consistent here. So if you're supportive of that, yeah. This would never pass the city of Fargo. So if every stone has been unturned and we've tried to do that, then we've talked about this a couple of times, Sean, and Jim, you and I talked about it too. So we can vote on it.
Well, the master plan, although 10 years old, we always seem to each building comes with its own little tweaks and turns. We should adhere to standards so that anybody that wants to can look and say, okay, on this lot, this is what I can build, and the expectation should be consistent. And the procedure that we would, instead of trying to piece by piece do this, what is a requirement for a variance, and if something's not gonna stay within the plan, how do you go about it? The way we're doing it now is piece by piece.
It allows for a lot of flexibility, and that's what the FAA and the state really appreciate about airports versus what you're talking cities and counties. It's a very flexible.
And I don't have a problem with the flexibility. I just have, the process is that, again, now we're throwing in another road here, and that's the first time we've seen that.
It's on the master plan, it's just aligned a little differently than what you see.
Right.
Well, let me just.
It's a living document.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the master plan was done 10 years ago, right? Or was it?
Right. We're not due to update it. The FAA wants it updated by 2028.
There's an FAA requirement to update, but then I think there's a workable operational plan that we should have.
That's what this is, part of that.
And I would argue that all those little buildings, that was for someone that has one plane or two planes. That's really not the reality at Hector Airport anymore. I mean, people with a single plane are going to Moorhead or they're going to West Fargo. And so I would argue that we should update that master plan and create bigger hangar space in our master plan where people can build things. And 10 years from now, we don't have oddball buildings. And that's the whole problem we dealt with down where Group 6 is. We had this old building, just goofy, and then, Roar did his building there. And it's, anyway, I'll shut up.
Well, like I said, I would like to understand what our process is, other than each time we're gonna build something, you know, here, this is where it's gonna go. I know the flexibility is fine, but the expectation of anybody else into the future, you know, they're gonna look and say, well, I see that, now I wanna duplicate that.
That's what they're seeing now. They see the master plan, say, hey, you show a possibility for a hangar here, could I build that? Okay, what size are you talking? I mean, they build what they can afford.
Mhm.
I don't wanna have
No,
anyone
and
for the reason
again-
of saying, hey, I wanna build a 70 by 70 or 70 by 80, but you're requiring me to build a 100 by 100. I'm gonna go to Moorhead or West Fargo. That's where Chris will end up, is in Moorhead, if we don't approve that.
Jeff, what's the distance from his proposer, his desire? How many feet further west than the existing hangar next door?
From the west edge of Tonheim's hangar?
To the west edge of the Rydell hangar, how many feet?
20 feet.
20 feet.
It's an 80 by 80
Okay,
versus
yeah,
100 by
yeah.
100.
So we're talking about a hangar that's gonna be 20 feet, not as big as this room.
Which is based off of fire code.
Sure. Yep.
But then if you're adding a 20-foot office, it would stick out 40 feet.
Sean, that office was desired by who?
Well, Rydell, I mean, they're looking for expansion opportunities if they need to.
Like the office would be on that white square.
Yeah, so then if they build right on the white, where they're parking right now, they would just extend their parking a little further out.
Yeah, so they need to redo that whole parking area.
And they could also, if it's not an office, I mean, their chief pilots talked about the place where they can park cars inside a garage as well. It could be a garage. Some hangars do have as well. They just want the flexibility to be able to do that someday if the owner decides. And it would go to the west.
Talking about the gray block there?
The gray block is what was proposed back in November. That hangar hasn't been built yet.
Okay.
They want to build 100 by 100. Hangar to the south is 80 by 80. So they'll extend 20 feet further to the west, just with the structure.
So we're talking about the white square then?
Well, if they wanted to do an addition, yes, it would go to the west for either vehicles and or office or storage or whatever it could be. They want that opportunity.
Good. And they pay for the concrete, how far in front of that?
50 feet out from the front door towards the taxi lane.
So
Actually, they pay for the entire amount. They pay for the entire amount from the hangar door out to the taxi lane.
And so if they encroach upon their own concrete, do they put?
That's their
What
problem.
happens there?
I mean, if they go to the west on their own concrete, they'll have to replace that and or expand their parking area or drive.
And who would pay for the access road?
That's to be determined. I mean, it could be the airport authority for, if we add another gate up on the far north end of that development. I still think there's room for more hangars to the north of that yet at some point before we have to move County 20, which I hope is necessary someday. So the airport authority could pay for that purple or magenta colored access road if necessary.
Well, I would like to see what would be permitted by plan. And I know you like flexibility, but we need a system that each time we do this, we get some variation and change. It reminds me of planned unit developments that eventually throw everything out. Every construction project becomes an individual project. And I would say if we could get to a master plan with what's permitted by, by ordinance or by policy.
Well, that's the open flexibility, that's what this is.
Yeah, but
We're not tied down by city stuff or county stuff.
no,
other than
no,
the
no.
lawyer thing.
But the procedure to do this is always just come and talk to you. This doesn't look bad, but you know, what does, when the spot for D develops, and what do you think is gonna happen there?
They'll come forth with a proposal that's in our construction guidelines to say, okay, I don't want to build something quite that big, maybe 20 feet smaller. We have to agree to, what they want to know is, are you going to lease them the land to build what they're going to propose to you? Every project is a little different. That's why it comes up every time.
Well, no, and everything is a little different. All you're trying to do with planning is create consistency and to have ways to adapt to your plans. I mean, things are going to change.
Everything on here could be built. The FAA and state have already approved anything that's on here. Everything that's on here could be built.
Correct. But if all of a sudden you say, okay, we're going to take E's and change one of those in the middle, then you're changing everything else around it.
If you want to, you can certainly do that.
But that's what I'm saying is that let's have a plan, let's have a method, a process to go through and say, here's, you know, by policy, here's what you can build. You're asking for a variance from policy. And what is the reason for that?
Other than financing, or it could be whatever. Yeah, access.
No, that's exactly,
sure.
You know, those are all
We've done that for
reasons for change by policy. But again, if each one comes in, if I want to buy D up there and put a small hangar on and keep it for future development, that's probably not something we want to encourage. Well, here they're asking to build more. What if I was asking to build less?
Did they look at this site here?
They did. Too many
They were
vehicles.
trying to finish out that whole development out
There's
there, and
gonna
it
be
looks like 100 by 100 would fit there
It
pretty
is.
easy.
It is. There's a plan that's going to come forth for that site here soon from another person. So, but yeah, Chris did look at that, but they have too many passengers going in and out of gates, and they don't want to deal with that. Nor do we want that amount of traffic going in and out of gates as well. So they did look at that site, yes.
Well, and these things, we're also seeing they tend to turn over.
Pardon?
Hangars tend to turn over and get different uses and everything else. And that again goes back to the consistency. And again, I don't like complete inflexibility, but should be some expectation of other people as they buy lots that, you know, it's not going to change every time.
Just to veer a little bit, so the Magenta proposed access road would be necessary right away if that hangar was built?
Well, he's proposed to come in from the south, use the same road as Rydell initially to put it up to the hangar.
Okay.
But you said that's Rydell's concrete, that apron.
On the west?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how would he get access to this stuff?
Well, he's provided to add on to the west of that slightly, just to widen it a little bit. And then, of course, Rydell's have indicated they don't have any issue with them using that concrete.
So is that an easement from Rydell, or what is it?
The board approved them to put a driveway there, drive lane there to access the hangar.
If they get in an argument, what happens?
That ain't gonna happen. So that's the concept, and Chris plans to be here in January with his same hangar plan, maybe another alternate, but I don't know. I think he's exhausted his efforts for an alternate, other than maybe go to Moorhead.
Well, can we see what the cost of that new road is?
Sure, Jeff can put together a plan for that.
And could we make an agreement that who's going to pay for it? Sure. As we do that, so.
You talking about that magenta colored one?
Yeah.
At this point, he's agreed to provide access to his hangar from the south along the Rydell. I mean, I can foresee the board putting in that east-west connection to the north side of that development with a gate to access hangars as they are constructed to the north of what's currently there.
Say that again?
The small access, the magenta one that goes east-west north of D there, I could see the airport paying for that, putting in an access gate when it's justified based on the development of those D and E areas to the north. We don't have the justification to do that now, but at some point we could. It's nothing that's urgent based on his desire to access it from the south along the Rydell hangar to get to his hangar that he's proposed. It could be added in the future, but it's not anything that's urgent. It needs to be done today.
Well, I'd just like to know how if that's gonna be an airport authority expense. And then we'd need to build that into what we anticipate to receive from those lots into the future.
It certainly could be. Jeff can put a number to it. See what that would cost. It's nothing that's needed today.
That's for car access then.
Correct, and fire. The fire department requires a turnaround area, just as they do on 34 down there for 380 North.
They've got hydrants there already.
There's hydrants in the proximity. I'm not exactly sure where they're at. Whatever's there now meets the code and the requirements. If Tunheim builds his hangar and another hydrant's required, that'll be in the building permit requirement for him. And
That Magenta Road could extend to the south as well, just to provide a continuous loop through there for fire access. You know, this is just a starting point, so.
It'll be extended the whole way if you need to. So, anyway, next item.
Any more discussion? Any more discussion?
Yeah, we're talking about area right here, right?
Next one up.
Next to it.
The gray one.
That's one that extends to the west farther than the others.
That's the 100 by 100 proposed hangar by Tunheim.
Okay, which?
The Rydell hangar is the white square just to the south of it.
Okay, the Rydell hangar is the one that you're talking about adding that office space?
Possibly, or garage, whatever it might be.
Okay. So this ramp exists right now?
Correct. Paid for by Andy Scatfold at the time.
And what you're talking about is this magenta one could extend all the way down here?
Correct, yeah.
And Rydell wants to add 20 feet or.
They want the option to.
If they, but they want to go to the west, not
Correct.
to the south. Because if they went to the south, then that would comply with the variances.
Well, if it's for cars, they want to go to the west.
Okay.
If they added 20 feet at the west edge, it would align with the 100 by 100 foot Tunheim hangar.
I mean, I think that'd look better if they were all consistent. But again, I just think if having passengers drive up to a hangar, we should really rethink this whole thing. Maybe this access road, we do our security fence for the airport there until we go further north. But then people could come in the access road and do the same thing, but have 10,000 square foot hangars, kind of along this row rather than. Anyway.
No, the whole area can be reconceptualized. It just has to go through obviously many iterations of input and FAA approval. So, but this is the plan as of today, because we did that back in 2015, whenever it was. So.
Well, if you change D now and brought it further west, so the next person coming along saying, I want to build there, say, now you have to build to this lot line. I mean, then we've got the opposite problem.
Certainly could. It's, if you want them all to line 100 foot 100, but then somebody wants a 110 by 110.
Well, again, when you you're looking to build a building, you look at the land, you look at the requirements of the land, what are the setbacks, what's everything. And if your building doesn't fit, you go look for another lot. Or you change your building. I mean, and I just want to see some consistency and some process to the whole thing. That we aren't gonna.
So what we do is we lease the footprint of the hangar plus 5 feet for footings. So if the neighbor comes in, you start at that 5-foot buffer line with their 5 foot and then their structure and goes. So the city has allowed us a 10-foot separation between hangars. Some is much closer, as long as the fire rating is on the firewall. They provide us significant flexibility, as long as you can provide the firewall. There's some down in the South Chee that are 2 feet apart.
I see what John's saying though, like if Rydell built out 20 feet to the west and then the gray hangar was approved, then D, if D were to, when it's sold, were to build out that 20 feet, so then it would be all aligned, so that would deviate from the master plan, but create the
Doesn't
consistency.
deviate from anything. These are concepts. It can be whatever you want. It doesn't deviate from anything.
That's not set in concrete.
Whatever
You can go
you want. It
20
can
feet
be
to
as-
the west. Not
as big or small as you want, and decide if you want to approve it. Gives you total flexibility.
Well, and total flexibility leads to total variation.
Certainly could.
So, again, all I'm looking for is that we have a policy. We say this is what we're looking for. These are the various lots. If you want to deviate from that, let's have a method to do that, and instead of having these free flowing discussions back.
The method to do it is just to ask.
Well, and again,
So it says to review the NGA hangar development plan. We're not making a decision today.
If you want to, but it's
Unless
just
there's a
review
motion.
just to show you that there's options. It's flexible. It's a living document. If you want to make it a policy, I mean, that's fine. Chris will be back before us at the January meeting. This was hopefully an effort to expedite his request. If not, I guess maybe he'll go someplace else and build it. I don't know.
and the existing Rydell building is built to the anticipated size that was proposed there. Is that an E size or what?
Correct.
And so now the next one, we're starting a new development. The next one is going to be a variation from the first one. And so then we go through the whole thing as variations from this.
If you don't want to do that anymore, I guess you'd have to draw the line and say, no, we're not doing that anymore. Might stifle development, but
Well, when was the last time a building was built up there?
When
a building was built? Yeah, I mean, not
Scaffold's
counting the
last
one
Scaffold was the last one, which is now the
before
right-
that, when was the last one that was built?
I think it was
380 North, yeah. 34. That's the last one, so, yeah, that was when?
Gosh, 10 years ago?
It was more than that. I mean, there's a reason people aren't going here. And that's because we can't give them a definitive of, here's a site, this will work.
That is not true. We're totally flexible with all the people that call about interest in building hangars. It's either a financial reason or they like the South GA better, or maybe they like Moorhead better. It's not because there's not options for them. That is not the case.
So we aren't seeing rapid development here.
No, I'd hope to see, this Tonheim hangar this spring, and hopefully that E north of 26th or north of the Schatz hangar this year as well. Outside of that, I don't know that we'll see any more development for some time. There's always people looking to build, maybe looking to partner with someone to build a hangar, or going in a different direction, or they're leasing from Sweeney or Fargo Aircraft Maintenance or somebody else on the field.
Well, I would say there's two issues, so that's a different issue. But I think we need to be at a point where if someone says, I want to do a 10 or 20,000 square foot hangar, we can say, this is our general policy, this is what we approved, you got to meet all the specs and that kind of stuff, but they can move forward. I think the issue here is if we're doing this, in my opinion, we should think through this and what kind of parking are they going to need? What are we going to pay for? What are they going to be paid for? And have that information before we make a decision. So if Chris comes on January and this is exactly like it is with no other information, I don't know if we've done him a service.
Well, Jeff's gonna put together some information.
What's the cost for that road, either as it's shown or extending all the way down?
Just roll down a little bit, scroll down a little bit. Just the whole thing. A little more. So look how nice this looks at the Jet Center. They've got a frontage road. They're not totally aligned in the front, but why can't we create that same thing on either side of this road that comes in? And have adequate parking.
I don't know, it looks to me that it is, if that, go back down to show that what we're discussing. On the east side, those buildings are all in a line, and that blue part is a proposed taxiway, right?
Yes.
That's a proposed taxiway. All the buildings, D, that gray one and the white one, on the east side, they're all in a line. So if they want to build, if D wants to build whatever out to the west, to that red line with the X's, I don't see, or just leave it the way it is. I don't see a problem with that. Because the access to the taxiway is going to be on the east side, not the west side.
Because everything interior of the taxi lanes that are up there where the E's and the D's are, the taxi lanes, those setbacks are already determined by the category of aircraft that are going to be stored in that area, put in the hangars. And where the cursor is right now, those are designed for larger King Air type aircraft. The ones further to the east where the two T hangars are, the D and D's, are for smaller single engine type aircraft. That's how the FAA and the state have worked with us on the master plan to put that. So those setbacks there and the depths are pretty well defined, as you see there right now at 24, 25.
Okay, so
that's the max that they can be based on the taxi lane safety area.
The west taxiway, that's built for like King Airs or
hotel is built for that, yeah. But the ones between, where Rydell is and so forth, those are for the larger aircraft, King Air and so forth. That's what 26 and 34 wanted down there, shots and those partners that were in 380 North. 24, 25, and those other ones where Kemple is and the one that was just sold now to Kirk Hamilton, those are smaller single aircraft. So those setbacks are already defined. So the flexibility that we have to provide something that's deeper in depth, you can certainly go wider north to south, but as far as the depth, those are set by those taxi lanes.
Well, that's the other bigger issue is if we haven't built a small hangar in 10 years, who really is our market? I mean, it's probably not our market here. And so really, even all those blue taxiways that aren't in, that should be rethought a little bit.
Those could be shifted again with our total flexibility policy. We could shift taxiways and change the size buildings we're anticipating on the E. So I get back to, let's have a master plan. Let's put what we want to see in. Let's put the procedure in place for variance.
That'll be part of the next master plan update with the FAA and the state and all the stakeholders to revisit that.
So if in the E area, access to the taxiway, if I have a King Air or larger, would access to the taxiway would be to the west, right?
Right, as it is right now. That's all.
Okay.
That's how Shots does it right now with his larger aircraft, the others. They don't go between 25 and 26 with the larger jet. They may tow it there, but they're not taxiing that full power.
But is that far right taxiway, is that designed for King Airs and jets?
What's the category, Jeff? It's
like a 172 size aircraft.
Right.
It's like the smallest one.
Yeah, so the one on the far left, that has another dash in it, so that means it's a heavier taxiway. Right?
This one.
No, far left, up here.
Yeah.
That's designed for heavier planes.
That would be, because it's
So
wider, so they
nothing-
would have to come down. And
Nothing else is designed for heavier planes.
this guy is right here.
And the existing hotel.
So.
But that if E, I'm now talking about above, that's access to the west, if they have a larger aircraft, right?
A lot of those hangars there have doors on both sides. Like in 26, the Shots hangar, he's got hangar doors on both sides. It's a great idea. And anyone that's going to build in between those taxi lanes likely is going to have hangar doors on both sides.
Okay, so
That's how they've done it elsewhere, and that seems to be the trend here.
So are we good to move on? Any more discussion? Okay. Number 18, receive and approve the SGA fuel farm expansion plan and ground lease request from Fargo Aircraft Maintenance. Dave.
Yes, Jacob. Just so you know, this is my son, Jacob Saul. Kind of making this a family business. Hopefully legacy keeps going with the new building and everything that's going on. Jacob knows more about this than I do. He's going to handle the fuel stuff, but I want to say this. We have some reservations about the South End fuel farm. And to understand what we're going through, I think we're going to walk you through what it takes to unload a truck and all the obstacles we have to go around.
Aaron, can you pull that up, the aerial of the South GA?
Okay. Which one was it?
Just the South GA aerial.
Oh, so, okay. You can keep talking.
Put yourself in a 50-foot rig right now. Okay.
The trailer is 50 feet long. The rig's over 60 feet long.
And the first thing that we go through is at the gate, we let them in. And we arrange Hangar 19's aircraft all the time for flight and fuel. And a lot of times the whole ramp is full of aircraft. So he has to navigate through the gate by the tails of these aircraft going by, swing out. We up there yet, Jacob?
I have to share this so the audience can see.
Give me a second here.
Yep.
Aaron Hall, can you see that?
Yeah, they should.
I think you want to shrink it just a little bit.
What's that?
The whole picture.
Do what? Zoom.
Just shrink it.
Zoom.
So you
Oh,
can
which part do you want? The bottom?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
okay. All right.
But then also,
Perfect.
also you want to see where the new hangar's at too, but.
Well, yeah, we'll just walk over what we got to go through right now.
And so there are a couple things. We're going through the gate. We're passing by tails of aircraft with these trucks that are probably 3 feet away from the truck as it comes in the gate. And then we swing around on the north end of the building there. Jacob, you point that out.
Yeah.
Why don't you bring them in as the truck drives and with Sanford and everything, what's going
So
on?
our tanker comes off of 19th Avenue right here, comes up to our access gate. Well, that's right here. As you can see, we have our parking tees right over here. That's where aircraft are normally parked. Trucks get relatively close when they drive around. We gotta let them in the gate, drive them around, bring them in over here. They loop around, come over here, back in onto the pad, and the truck actually sticks out probably 10 feet past the loading pad. So on the other side of this ramp here. So the truck, the front of the truck, when it's unloading, it takes about a good hour to unload a truck. The front of that truck sits right there. And here's Sanford's door. This is a light flight operation. They're heavy traffic. They're in and out of there multiple times a day.
And they load patients on the ramp.
They load patients on the ramp. And when they come in and they park their King Air usually sits right about here. So that wingtip is right in the way of that. And having a truck in there just alone to unload a fuel load is a traffic impedance, and it's a safety concern for us and them. Let alone the one tanker load, say, every now and again or once a day. We have multiple refuelers ranging in all different sorts of sizes that are coming in there to load off of the fuel farm. So we're able to fuel aircraft. So for them to come in here and use that pad multiple times a day, it's congested already. For the traffic we have now with Group 6, and they also use the pad, it's for me, it's a safety concern. And it's something that there's better alternatives and options out there.
I have run into Sanford I suppose I don't know how many years I've been fueling here, Sean, but I've had to move Sanford twice. Fortunately, they unloaded the patient. The airplane is just sitting there, and I hooked on the airplane and moved it. Now, keep in mind, if that truck sits on that pad too long, you get charged for that too.
And just the last fuel load we took, truck came in, began unloading, Sanford came in. King Air came in here, spun around, truck can't leave till Sanford's either moved or, I mean, it's traffic. It's heavy traffic, and it's only gonna get heavier.
Who designated where Sanford loads and unloads patients?
What's
We
that?
didn't. Who designates that? We didn't.
Well, they do. They use that spot there. Their ambulance is waiting for them. They load there. They have equipment they bring in here. Sometimes they undo their equipment they have on board and change over quickly. They do that through this garage door here and they go out to the airplane and do it. I mean, they can't, switch over to like neonatal or whatever you call that, or ordinary passenger. They have to do that. And they a lot of times they don't do it in the hangar. They do it outside quick.
And alternatively, you're saying that if there was another option, you want them out by the taxiway?
Or on the other side or something.
The other
I mean,
side
has
over
anyone
here?
talked to them about other options? Flexibility. When they come in and see an obstacle, is there another option for them? Because they go to rural airports all over this region.
Well, I don't know.
Rural, it's traffic. This is not rural. This is heavy.
No, I understand. But they
it's a
load and
safety
unload
concern.
airplane and ambulance all the time anywhere. So I'm just wondering if Sanford needs to be brought into the picture to say, is there other options for you to?
Well, how
load and
far
unload?
away do they go from their operation to do that? Where they be happy,
That's why they have to be talked to.
And then the other obstacle we have is, here's the other thing. Think about, you're putting in over $500,000 of extra tanks. We need our own loading ramps. I mean, what if they sell that one day and my agreement with Group 6 is done? I have no way to load tanks.
So Dave and Jacob, do you have a request or a solution?
Here's my request is for the expansion that I like to do, I like to go behind the hangar that we just built.
Okay.
And because we have a plan, we can make it accessible. A truck drives right up to it, unloads, drives away, turns out, and goes right on out. Fuel's unloaded quickly, safely, and it's out of there.
Doesn't impede any aircraft traffic inside the airport whatsoever.
I mean, I have a pretty good investment down at South Ramp with what I have now, but boy.
Maybe show where you're building.
And we have, I think we sent
Just
in.
move the cursor without moving the picture. Where do you want to go with that?
Want to go right here.
Do you have this?
No.
Do you have the site plan of what we approved? Pull that up.
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't have that for here.
The site plan of what we approved.
Right.
I think
Their
what you're looking
building
at-
and their fuel and everything.
I don't think that was provided. I don't have that readily available.
As far as, we have a proposed what we want to do with
the fuel farm over here as far as.
Well, we
We can't, over here, right behind our new facility is drainage ponds, there's just no way to put a fuel farm there, there's no, it's a pond.
The lease does include a fuel farm area with Dell.
So what we approved, that old site plan. So what you're asking for is a change to that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what's hard for us to see.
Right. But I don't know, the whole thing is, we gotta find something that works well, fast, and safely. Because it does get congested on South End.
Yeah, what you provided didn't include that, and I didn't see this until Monday, but
Maybe just show Dave where you're planning on, we can look at that later, where you're planning on
By
putting a tank, yeah.
Right here. Right in this area here. That's just a simple L road. Where a truck loops around Old Terminal, comes in, unloads, and shoots out. Efficient, all safe. That was, we had a couple of people come out, we threw some couple of concepts around, and that was what worked the best for us as far as footprint, location. It's ideal, what we're trying to do.
Do you have a site plan that shows that?
Yeah.
That we could see?
well, there was one in the packet that they provided page, I don't know what page it is in the packet.
81.
Because many years ago, the board made a policy that the South G fuel farm, until that was maximized with the number of tanks that can go in there, and Jim O'Day put together a plan for Dave earlier that shows there's all kinds of room for more tanks in the South G fuel farm. That's where all fuel tanks would go until the space was maximized.
Traffic.
Understand, I'm just telling you, that's where we sit right now. That's the only place that fuel tanks can go unless the board today decides to go someplace else.
And keep in mind that we need a loading pad, which we have no room for with this tank.
Understand.
That's one thing you gotta remember.
So
Is it in there?
where is, I can't find it.
It's on 80,
83.
84, 85. '86.
87.
Can't really understand its relationship to the, just your building or anything.
So right here, if you have the site concept, that's where it'll be sitting. It's the road. Didn't turn out too good in the copy of this. But that's where it'll sit in there.
Where's the road to your new hangar?
Right here.
It's just north of Casey's Air Parts there.
I believe the old concept that you guys had approved up north, that was when we didn't understand that there was our ponds were there. I don't know
Yeah,
if
there
that
was
was
something that
factored into the
changed.
plan or not. There was
And then the
past that
access
parking
road
lot.
on the north end also changed.
Because Dell is currently leasing a space for a fuel farm.
Yeah, and that things happened with the rest of the building that didn't make that doable.
We've never been informed of that till just now.
Yeah, I mean, well, I didn't know it till building was about done. So, and I was up there looking, and they poured some stuff in where they shouldn't have for pads and air conditioning and stuff, and took up some of our access roads. And
So the original fuel farm location that the board approved for Dell Arneson, you are saying it's no longer viable.
well, it could be, but I don't know how you're going to turn a rig around there with what happened with the rest of the stuff.
You got what they requested.
Well, but we've got flexibility. I mean, we
You
approved
can't-
that.
Yeah, you just end it.
Got flexibility.
You know.
So what's before you today is where he just pointed on the map was to place a fuel farm there.
I think this, this points up, the need to have this master plan. Again, we're piece by piece doing this, and we get into situations like this.
I say that the South GA Fuel Farm, they're making a request that's outside of what the board has previously approved. That's where the tanks go. Till that space is maximized, that's where it is. You'll find a place to put a loading unloading pad. Sanford needs to be talked to in terms of where they load and unload patients.
I think that includes the owner of Hangar 19.
What's that?
Sanford parks their aircraft. Isn't that your hangar right there?
And the other thing to consider is we have this west end here, also full of aircraft. We dump this hangar. Also, they get Bismarck flights, parts out here too from Sanford. Now, it's deceiving. This isn't as big as it looks. This is, you park a King Air right here, you're basically done to the taxiway. So the King Air takes up this much area with the wing. That's what you got to look at. So it takes 1, 2, 3, almost 4 squares. And you pull out some airplanes here, and there's trucks parked here. It fills up that ramp. This gets filled up with aircraft. It's just when that fuel farm was put there, it was okay. There's nothing there. You know,
the old scroll.
Yeah.
Farm.
And you talked to the owners of the avgas tank as well, Fargo Air, those guys.
Yeah, we sent some emails out. And
that's the tank on the far north end that is grandfathered in. It doesn't meet any state or local requirements for containment. The tank should have been replaced probably 25 years ago, but it's grandfathered in. Fire department and health department and state would love to see that gone, but it's avgas. It's through a group of owners that fuel and.
I put a proposal. I put up give them reasonable fuel delivered, and if they let me take that out, and I think there's something it's like 50-50. I don't know. No one takes it seriously until really something starts to move. You know.
Everything now is above ground, right?
There's nothing preventing below ground, but the Fargo Fire and the state and everybody prefer above ground.
So just let's get back to the issue. So the issue right now is we approved a fuel tank for you in the new building. And you're saying that that's not as convenient for semis to come in and out and unload fuel.
Yeah, they'd have to drive all the way
Yeah,
down.
no, I understand that. So what you're asking us is to, be flexible and modify that plan we approved. That's kind of the issue.
And there, I think was it the Delta tanks that used to sit there, Sean? We're buried there, right?
Northwest Airlines. Yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of contamination.
So
in that
I think for me, it would be good to be able to see that on the north side, what you're proposing and where that fits with all the buildings and the current traffic and that kind of thing.
We can have it drawn up better, and I mean, it's something we have to put forth and take in consideration. I wouldn't be talking here if I didn't think that was going to work.
Let me ask you this, Dave. What's your timing on this?
As soon as possible.
Yeah, I mean, it's well, one thing is as soon as this building gets settled in and that gets rolling, I'll have an idea on how much and when, because I got.
So I guess my question is, so if you put the plan together so we can see it and came back next month.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Yeah.
I just want the authority to know what's happening on the south end and why we can't use it. I'm not saying we can't use it because I want someplace else. It's just for what we see, it's a lot of things that are in the way. And get behind the truck and drive it in there, and you'll see exactly how much room it takes. You have to swing out on the taxiway, parallel the tanks, swing out, pull the truck right up to the hangar on the west side, and back it into a pad. It takes, that old song, "Give me 40 acres, I'll turn this rig around." That's what it takes. And you got to consider that it's just not conducive to any of that. Even if I was looking at putting in a loading ramp here, which I don't know is feasible along the side here, but then the truck has to back out into the taxiway, up and over, come out around, turn in, go around, go back out again.
So if the loading pad is put right out on the apron, because you're proposing to put a loading pad up by the east terminal there, that's right out on the driveway, it just pulls up and drives up and stays on it. What's to say that it can't be, no, go back down. What's to say it just can't be out there on as part of the apron? That's how, at the North GA Fuel Farm, it's part of the access road, the loading unloading pad. What's to say some of those panels can't be taken out? You create a place for a semi to load and unload right out on the ramp.
You're talking right here?
Anywhere out in front of those things.
We still have issues with aircraft everywhere. I mean,
Understand.
That's huge.
Understand.
Mr. Berg, I mean, there's been previous plans for you to expand your current hangar this way. I mean, as far as I
There'll
remember.
be more aircraft in the way, for expansion of what Rich
in a tighter spot.
So you're gonna decommission this?
I think so. That's up to Rick now.
Well,
I mean,
it's your tank.
No, you were talking the building or the?
No, the tanks.
My preference is Dave would stay where he's at and not move to his new hangar. And fuel planes where he's doing it right now. So I'm kind of a little bit on the opposite side of this issue, just so everyone knows.
Hold on it anyway.
Yeah. But anyway, I think
With a little planning, I think there's room on that apron to put that semi as well, regardless of the aircraft.
But there's then again, Sanford sitting there, Sanford being there. I mean,
Sanford's going to move if that hangar.
Well, what you have to do is you have to visualize it with this ramp full.
Understand?
I mean, you're seeing it empty and it's bigger than what it looks. And these trucks can get trapped in. And how can you train a pilot to do what you want him to do anyways? He's going to come in. No, but because they have different pilots. And the whole thing is they pull up to the hangar, turn around, and they're there. They do what they need to do. And then they push it right in from there into the hangar. And I mean, there's winter time. There's all sorts of obstacles in this way on this. And to have a truck driver driving between $1 million airplanes, you're missing tails.
Well, again, we're getting off track here a lot. So the issue is we approved you to have fuel in your new building.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying to us, there's a better way for us to operate that. And so I think that's the issue, whether or not, and if you can put that on paper so we can see that, I think that's the main decision you're looking for us. So
yeah, let's do that. So let's get our options. And
yeah.
Excellent.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
I mean, I don't know. I'm just concerned about if you're talking about doing here you're loading and unloading fuel trucks kind of on a city street.
No.
Just what you talking right here?
Yeah, we're wasting our time till we see it.
I'll do the proposal. We'll show you the proposal. Because we'll just be going around in a circle again.
Seems like it.
So, and it's getting late for you guys. So,
Is there a motion to receive? Actually, you're gonna come back next month.
Sure.
With a new plan. So we're not gonna receive this one
No, just
or approve it. So
continue next.
thank you.
Well, thank you for listening. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And always appreciate the attention to safety. Old business, we have a safety report.
Okay, we had one employee that did slip and fall on the ice. He is okay. And so since our relationship had started with Pro Resources many years ago, they provide all of our employees with ice cleats, slip-on ice cleats. So but he is okay.
Okay. Do we have a governance committee update?
Yeah, I think we met this last 2 or 3 weeks ago and kind of laid out some goals for the airport. And Sean was going through that, going to kind of reconvene, I guess. Is that your take?
Yeah. In between some personal challenges he was going through.
I'm sorry?
In between some personal challenges.
Yeah, and Sean lost his brother last 2 weeks, so.
Yep, I'll get to it. So liquor licenses,
Do board members have their conflict of interest filled out? That was in the in the agenda packet.
Thought I signed
It was in the agenda packet.
Yeah, no, I didn't sign that one, but.
So if everybody can just get that done.
You want us to sign this? Oh. I can.
If you can print one off for me right now, I'll send mine.
So where is our code of ethics? That's on the other side. So is this from our governance committee, or where did this come from? 'Cause we've never.
that's what you gave out at the, your meeting there, it comes out of the governance document.
We haven't approved that governance. This
But
is,
you did talk about.
we talked about a lot of things that we haven't put forward, so, I mean, I just wanna be crystal clear, this is not something we've approved.
Oh.
I don't have any problems with it.
No, what I was told was is to take that excerpt out of the government's document. And you did review this when we got together at your office, and this would be the document that board members would sign. And then insert once the whole governance document was done. That's what I was told to do. So this would be the
So
document.
you're saying, again, I'm just trying to figure out where this is all coming from. Is this something we sign every year? I mean, the only thing we signed, I think, was when we were appointed by the city. So, I mean, I think, so again, I think if we're, and I don't have any problem with this, but if we're gonna use this as our governance for conflict of interest, I think we should all understand it and go through it.
Okay, I misunderstood.
Am I? Dean, any comments?
Yeah. I was told to put this document on the agenda and you guys would approve it and sign it. That's what I did, so.
Well, it's
that's not-
important to understand these things. So again, if we're gonna, again, this whole, I mean, the idea was that we take the whole governance thing and approve it, and then we start operating according to the governance. We haven't done that, so yeah.
I apologize. I didn't mean to step on the toes of our governance committee. I misunderstood.
You didn't, and I think this is okay, but let's make sure we all understand it, because I think it's important.
Okay.
Well, the city policy too. Which one rules here? I don't know. We've got two policies.
If I remember right, the city one is really generic and not specific. It's a
No, I'm just
a lot
trying to
more
understand.
professional. No slight to the cities.
So from my perspective, since the entities are separate, that those Fargo municipal policies wouldn't apply to the airport unless and until you so adopted those.
Paula, could we put this on the next agenda with review of this and signature at that time? Well, approval and signature.
I think that's fine. Sean, you okay with that?
I did what I was told. So.
Yeah, oh, yeah, no slight, Sean. It's our fault for not approaching it better.
And then just a point of clarification, so I'm on that same page, because I had understood, I think I found it some minutes, that the governance policies were gonna be dealt with sort of not all at once, just sort of a group as the authority went, but did I misunderstand that, or it's to do it as a whole?
I think you better refer that to.
Yeah, I mean, I would say we're probably gonna end up doing that, but that probably should come through our governance committee and say, here's a piece we feel is important, we're gonna deal with that. And that's kind of on the track we're on, is here's some of the goals and objectives. Our committee will report that to the board and we'll go through it. So if there's anything in that governance packet that you think is critical to do, we should do it.
Okay.
But
that goes back to review of policy.
Yeah.
Rotating basis, and it can be very quick. We continually each year or each meeting take one policy, update it or whatever.
Okay, if we don't have anything more on governance, we could move towards the MAA liquor license update.
Sure. I was given the directive at the last meeting to work through the research as it relates to if the board chooses or would like to have beer and wine consumed outside of the Skydyne, both temporary and final spaces, what would that look like? And so I started out with the idea of a stadium license, which like the Fargo has, the city auditorium downtown has, and it just didn't feel like the right fit for purposes of what you're looking to do here. So then, and that's set forth at Fargo Municipal Code 25-1509. So then I went and I thought, well, maybe there can be an exception given, which there are exceptions under the municipal code to various entities. And in talking with, which was sort of Steve Sprague's idea when he opined on it back, I want to say March of 2025, that didn't really feel like it necessarily fit either. So I found 25-1501, which provides the definition for licensed premises as the bar area and restaurant, and which is what Skydyne has now. But then it goes on to state, in the alternative, any person applying for a license under the provisions of this article may describe, depict, or otherwise identify in the application for a license various areas or spaces which will constitute the leased premises. I think that's exactly what we have here. And in reaching out and discussing it with Nancy Morris at the city, I feel that she and I are in agreement. So, and I know I think I've got Austin from Skydyne on here as guest. So one of the things then I did, because Nancy and I agree that Skydyne will need to go most likely in front of the Liquor Control Commission, Liquor Control Board, and perhaps the City Commission for approval for the expanded site beyond the actual bar and restaurant. So I asked Austin to go through and both do the temporary sites, with the yellow being where they can actually serve, and then the green being where they want patrons to be able to have their beverage. And then I asked him to also give me, after expansion's completed, again, where alcohol can be served and where it can be taken within the terminal. And so that's where we're at. The next Liquor Control Board meeting, there's one, I believe, tomorrow. So obviously we couldn't get there now. It's a little too perfunctory. So the next one is the third week of January that they meet. And obviously we meet the 2nd. And that would give Skydyne, me, what's that?
We're meeting with
Oh, so third Wednesday. Sorry, I misspoke. I thought they were Wednesdays. Okay.
Ours is.
Yes. Okay. So, but that would give us some time to really get the Skydyne get their ducks in the row and figure out presenting to the Liquor Control Board. But the ball's rolling. And I was happy that Nancy and I seem to agree on the interpretation that I give to 25-1501.
So the goal would be to have this approved by the time the expansion opens February 9th.
I would just caution not to overthink this and make it as simple as possible. The airport liquor license is a unique license, freestanding. You have to be an airport, and so
Not necessarily. It's an A license.
it's an A license. But Pete Haug tried to sell it, and it was owned by the airport for that. And to be as expansive as you can, rather than having designated, tape on the floor, you've got to be here, you've got to be there. I would look for a very simple, you can serve alcohol in this area.
So Skydyne,
in the
pardon me. So Skydyne, it's actually their license, not the airport's.
Yeah, they operate it, but
they own the license.
They can't sell it.
I don't know if they can sell it or not. That have to be consent. I mean,
Sorry, if I can interject here for just a second. The Skydyne does not own that license.
Oh, I stand corrected.
No, it's assigned to the airport by ordinance.
It is not.
We're pursuing this at the direction of the airport and the pleasure of the board is from my understanding. And if that's wrong, please let me know. But yeah, we're happy to pursue this licensure and adjustment in whatever way we can. Obviously, would like to be able to do that and help out however we can. But yeah, the way that we understand it, that's not owned by us. It's owned by the airport.
Why are they listed then?
Because they pay the annual fee. They're responsible to pay the annual
I
permit
stand
fee.
corrected.
They operate.
So the
Yep,
bottom
I stand
line is, will they be able to operate the way they want to in 2 months?
Yes, well, that's the goal.
Well, so.
If not two, maybe
They're
three.
expecting us, ours, to do this, and we want to make sure we're on top of it.
Yes, Jim?
The concern I have with this, if they're allowed to sell within the confines of their selling area, but then go out through the terminal carrying a beer or a whiskey sour or whatever they're drinking, they've already gone through the security check.
Correct. It's
That
only-
means they can take it on board an aircraft. I'm against that.
You
We
cannot
have to-
bring alcohol on board
Outside
an
of the
aircraft in an open container.
People currently do now in the minis, but they don't catch those.
Okay,
But
just,
you can take coffee and water on board.
No.
I don't.
No.
Once you're through security,
Yes.
if they're nice, they might let you, but they're not supposed to.
And
Well-
take your coffee and water.
I see people all the time doing that. Once they go through security.
Just so I understand the issue, so we have to have the Liquor Control Board approve something to operate the way Skydyne wants. Is that true or not true?
Well, that's sort of an unknown to me.
So
But I
we
wanted
need
to get us through this process and then reach out to liquor control, but the city takes that position.
Okay, so is there any barriers to getting, have you met with them and talked through this?
Well, so I wanted to give this presentation here today to say direction give to where we're at and then reach out. I mean, if this is what Skydyne is looking to do, then reach out to the Liquor Control Board in conjunction with Nancy Morris, and that being the next step.
Again, it's a
We want
process.
you to run forward and get this done with them, not feel like you have to wait for.
The simplest thing I think would be to look for a stadium license and see where we don't meet the requirements of the stadium license. And I think it's gonna be number of seats.
Again, I don't want us to
This
open
is-
February 1 and our vendors not be able to serve customers like they're intending.
Well, the problem that we have with the existing liquor license is you have to have tape on the floor.
Oh, sure.
And that's where you consume and
We're
sell
asking
the
for a
liquor.
modification of that. And that's what we don't know what the response is.
We may have to look for a political change to the ordinance, but that's,
The goal is February 9th, but once it goes through Liquor Control Board, if it has to go to the city commission and be heard, or I don't know what that process
it's
is.
an
we'll
ordinance
find out.
change, it takes time.
So it could be March, but as soon as it can possibly happen, it will.
Paula's been pushing this.
Well, I want to assure the board members that this is a model that is used throughout America and airports all over, including Bismarck, other North Dakota airports. I was just down in Cedar Rapids, an airport that's our size airport.
Sorry.
Mhm.
When is the Liquor Control Board meeting and they would approve this?
Their next meeting, they have a meeting tomorrow. Unless I'm misspeaking. So their next meeting would be in January.
Other than us fitting into an existing license, we're gonna have to change it and their desire to change our existing airport liquor license or try and fit in.
Yeah.
But
we don't know what
it's
the
gonna take
problems
us a while. It's gonna take a while.
So if I can interject just for a second, Skydyne still does need to pursue just throughout the process of moving to a temporary location now. We still do need to pursue changing the venue, which this the way that I understand what we were able to present, the renderings and site plan that we were able to present, would still satisfy that requirement. The way that we understand it was that it was the desire of the board that and we're in alignment, we're in agreement with, we want to be able to serve in one location and then have passengers take their beverages wherever they would desire throughout the terminal, the normally accessible areas in the post-security terminal. That was, I think we're probably all in alignment with it. How we get there is an entirely different thing, but I think we can, we certainly have a way to go forward.
Well, again, the two-step, the first step is just to redefine your designated area currently during construction, and then work on this change. And that's going to be a matter of what politically what the commission wants to do or the liquor control board. But quite frankly, I've been very surprised there hasn't been any problems with the stadium liquor license. Since we're going to charge $20 a beer, I think we're going to do pretty well.
Well, and this one, is kind of coming up out of necessity, just with going over to the temporary area and how seating limited it's going to be. If we're going to be able to serve, any number of passengers, obviously the seating, if we do have to keep everybody cordoned off in the area, especially over in the temporary area, is going to be very difficult. Obviously, when we get to our permanent area, that's a nice big space, and that changes the calculus significantly. But to be able to service a Vegas Allegiant flight of people that are ready to get the party started early, that's a little difficult to do out of that small temporary location. So just trying to be all things to everyone.
And to be fair, like going forward, like when you mentioned a Vegas or a Nashville flight, and you're right, I think the passengers, for the most part, like to start with a beverage. But our new, the bar restaurant that's going to be ready in March of 2027, the occupancy is, just over half of what a Allegiant or plane would hold. So this would alleviate the pressure placed on that space.
100%.
And on your bartenders for being bouncers, basically.
This absolutely, lays the groundwork for being able to do that, and not have to have everybody cordoned off in a space. Like you had said, it's about half of the capacity of one of those flights. And so, yeah, it definitely lays the groundwork for being able to go forward with that mentality of a stadium type licensure at the airport.
Okay. So let's see. Moving on. I would like to encourage all the board members to review the open meeting memorandum and reflect in the minutes that this topic has been addressed today. And if you have any questions, you can certainly direct them to Stacy. Public comment period would be regarding any topics discussed today or on November 10th of 2025 and December 3rd of 2025. Are there any public comment? Okay.
I suppose for old business, do we have an update on the marketing and the CFO position we talked about?
Yeah, there's, it's out on Indeed for a while now. I know we've got lots of applicants. One position is open until February 2nd. I can't remember, and one is open until February 9th. So, but we're getting lots of applicants.
And the procedure after this, once it's closed, what's scheduled?
Well, we'll go through those applicants with Megan at Pro Resources and probably staff here and pick out who we think is most qualified and set up some interviews and go from there.
Okay, so will the board be given the decision on higher?
That would be under my purview, under the bylaws and the ordinance. So you want to change that, that's up to you.
Well, just the process, what, you know, do you solely make a decision or at an executive level?
That's how it has been.
I don't, I'm just saying that, at an executive level. Is there input?
It's entirely up to you. There hasn't been in the past with any of the positions that we've hired. So they're part of our team. That's to me, so.
Well, my experience has been on significant hires, C-level positions. There is input from the board.
It's up to you. As it sits right now, I'll make the decision. If you choose otherwise, that's entirely up to you. We've done this for a number of years. So.
Yeah, I'd just like to know what our process is before we start trying to
The process has been as the director makes the decision.
And the last time that was done with the C-level position.
We haven't done that. I guess the board hired me and then I've hired everybody else. Darren was probably the last.
So it's been a number of years. Again, it's policy we should be looking at. Understanding. We can probably address that in January.
Okay, Jim?
No, if everything is done, I move to adjourn.
Okay.
Meeting adjourned.